ask me, like, do you listen? Like, do you not? I'm like, no, I don't, cause I don't like
Hmm.
co-sign like what he like needs. You can't get with the fact that they waited till he got off of house arrest to sign him and give him all this money. Like, what? You're enabling right now. Like, why would you do that? And look what it's
Yeah.
caused and it's created. And it's like you fueled the fire to something, and now you're making a
Hmm.
of my city. Like, that makes me angry.
Like my thoughts on Chief Keef, for him to be um 18-year-old kid from Chicago who turned what he knows into, getting $2 million on a record deal and, changing his family and his friends around him life. I honor him for that. It's not like he is this kid from the suburbs who said I'm about to be a gangster rapper or whatever and get on. Like he pretty much made low budget videos with his homies and it worked. Every time something goes wrong in Chicago, they blame him. And he's not to blame. He's not the only drill rapper. He's not. You know what I'm saying? You got a bunch of rappers from YP to King Louis. It's even older drill rappers. So he gets the blame because he's kind of like the bigger star, and it's also the responsibility of parents and people to kind of teach their kids. I think it's because as young kids going running rapid in Chicago, they want to blame it on Chief Keef. The crime was there before Chief Keef, even before people knew who he was. I think the problem is once he got a deal and people seen him flashing the guns and stuff, then the media start focusing on it. You know what I'm saying? These crimes that's been going on for the last couple of years. You know what I'm saying? I mean, when my little brother got killed, a couple of summers ago, he was part of, I think, in 3 days in a 2 block range where my brother was killed. It was like 6 or 7 people got murdered, and one of them was a cop within like a weekend. You know what I'm saying? But it was only like a 2 block radius. So it's one of them things where it's like that don't get noticed. Now the chief keeps popping. Every time there's a murder or something, it's on the TV now. So he gets a lot of the blame, and he's not to blame. You know what I'm saying? He ain't out here murdering nobody. He out here, he got guns and stuff. He talking about that stuff, but he ain't out here murdering people. He's rapping what he know. You know what I'm saying? We always been a crime filled city. It just got worse the last few years. Now
Like,
I do.
why do you think it got worse? Like, what?
The generation change. The Chief Keefs of the world, their parents are my age.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And we kind of like still a younger generation. We come from the gangs. We come from a real gangster era. We come from the NWA era, like the real gangster rap era. So these kids don't have no structure. They being raised by TV. Look at the games. Look at the games that's popping right now. Black Ops did $500 million in a week. You know what I'm saying? It's a video game with all type of
I used
violence.
to play Need for Speed and Mario Kart, and like,
Yeah, like that's
Gran
not popular anymore.
Turismo.
You know what I'm saying?
Like,
That's not everything just changed. But if you go to all these cities and look at the crime, they all young kids. The difference between these cities and us is that we got young kids getting $1 million record deals. Kids are getting these record deals and these kids are getting all this money, and they kind of like the leader of this music stuff right now. So everybody is looking at them like, oh my God, Chicago was a the murder capital. We still ain't the murder capital, but we just got the world is focusing on us because they focusing on us from sports to music. One of the biggest dudes in the rap game, Kanye, from the crib. Our president's from the crib.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like we have a president that's from Chicago, so that automatically brings the world's attention to our city.
He,
And we got a new mayor. Our mayor comes from Obama's administration. Our president's from here. You got Derrick Rose. Like it's just a lot of things in Chicago that's going on right now that brings attention to our city. So the only negative thing about our city is the crime. It's a beautiful city. It smells good. We got cool people. It's crime. But everybody blames Chief Keef, and it's not his fault. Now I do say that what he does need to be cleaned up a little bit. I think people need to chill, not let him just be out here reckless. You know what I'm saying? That whole little JoJo situation a terrible situation that was getting out of hand. But it
I
wasn't.
feel like the label should handle that situation. Drop him or no?
They gave him $2 million. They need their money back. This is a business. The world is a business, and when someone gives you money, when you sign that record deal, that's a loan. Oh, here go $2 million. Go blow that. They need that money back. They're not about to drop him and just say, "Oh, you just ran off for $2 million of our dollars." Nah. If you look at Jimmy Iovine, an executive who signed artists that had kind of like not necessarily a gimmick, but that everybody else shunned. He signed Chief Keef. He signed Iggy Azalea. He signed 50. He signed M. Them four artists right there that labels was like, it's too much with you. He sees it. So he wants his money back. They're not gonna drop him. They're not gonna drop him at all. And then, he made a hot record. Kanye jumped on it. Then he got a new record, Love Sosa, that's doing good. He got a new record called Kobe that's doing good. Like, they ain't gonna drop him. It ain't the record label. It ain't the record label's job to censor or to come in and be like, "Hey, Chief Keef, can you stop?" They're not his daddy. They're his employer. They gave him some money. He asked them out, and they need to make their money back. Now, once they make their money back, that's a whole different story. But they're not gonna let this 18-year-old kid get $2 million and just run off with their bread, because people buying into it, and they figure if these young kids killing each other, but they're gonna go out and buy this dude record, and we can make our money back, so be it. Casualty of war, and that's how the music industry is, and that's what people need to understand. You know what I'm saying? It's not my job. It's not the rapper's job. It's not anybody's job to change what they're necessarily rapping about, because they rapping about what they know. They're not the kids' parents. Our kids are being raised by 106 in Park. Our kids are being raised by World Star Hip Hop. When I was a kid, my mama raised me. My mama read me books. I hung out with my mom. These kids don't have their parents. They don't have no structure in their family, so they being raised by other means. And then when stuff hit the fan, it's so easier to find somebody else to blame, and that's where the problem lies. So people need to take responsibility for, their actions. Now, maybe one day artists are going to start saying, you know what, I don't want to rap about that because that might make a kid do whatever. But we're not telling people like that, these actors that's getting Oscars and Emmys for playing these crazy roles, because they acting. It's entertainment. And if you ain't going to blame them, don't sit up here and just blame hip-hop. Rock and roll lyrics ain't the best either. Rock and roll lyrics got crazy stuff in them too. People just always want to blame hip-hop, and hip-hop's not the sole problem in society. Society is messed up.
Helps though. I feel like things like your show, Hustle Palooza, and your concerts and all that, and like what I'm gonna do with Stop Shooting, Start Living. I feel like that's the one thing that hip hop can give back, is to give these kids
Mm-hmm.
to focus on, like I said, rather than be in these streets running rampant.
Yeah, it takes individuals to step up and give back. I can run around with gangster rappers all day, but I'm still gonna try to help these kids and preach and try to save these kids. It ain't necessarily my obligation. I'm not obligated to do it. I just do it, and it takes people like yourself and me to do things like this, to kind of create that awareness and kind of motivate these rappers to kind of like, let's come together and talk to these kids. And I think that'll play a role.
Agreed. I'm excited. I need to make a timeline for myself. I don't really want to rush into doing this, but I feel like the right time to do an event would in Chicago would be in the summer, because there's nothing like summertime shot. So
That's real,
that's
and
really
that's when everybody's shooting.
because talent shows are towards the end of the year. So
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff going on this summer. So I mean, you can use the school year to do, every month, every other month, do a talent show to find the talent you're gonna use for your event for the summertime, to build and keep building and get that buzz going. So then by the time your event rolls around the summer, everybody knows about it and it's just gonna crack.
hmm
Shout out to New Era. This is my first time wearing this hat. Shout out to New Era.
it's hot.
I said, let me get cute for this interview, throwing my Nike gears.
Right.
Let me get a fit off real quick.
Need to close this out. Thank
Okay,
you, Hustle Simmons,
you're
aka
welcome.
Teddy, aka I'm okay.
AKA that dude.
Right.